Oh, hello, friends. Did you have a good weekend? A little hot, huh? A little hot? Hot weekend. Hot time. Summer in the city. And sometimes the suburbs. Hell, the exurbs got a little steamed. I was thrilled, actually. The last 2 years, the summer here in Austin, Texas, has been uh, just insane. Unrelenting. May ends, June begins, and 97 to 100 straight on through until, late September. Just nothing but 4 months of the same day. Hot. And that's fine. I can handle it. I'm a swamp monster after all. But I've been greatly delighted by the fact that we've had something that we have not had over the last 2 years, and that's rain. In fact, there was a tropical storm that hit Mexico, made last week downright delightful. Just a fun time to be around. And then the heat dome settles in on the rest of America. You got Phoenix at 106. You got DC at 97. What are we? Spend most of the day at 89, baby. We're barely breaking into the 90s. What is this place? What is this life? That's what I ask myself sometimes. Hopefully you guys had a good time. We have a debate week. Debate week started. That's all anyone's going to talk about. It's all I'm going to talk about, to be totally honest with you. It's all I'm thinking about. It's this debate on Thursday. Oh, boy. How many ways is it special? Well, let's figure it out. It's the first debate in June. June. First debate in June. First debate with two former presidents debating each other. The first with both of them over the age of 78. So the oldest debate. It will be the first since 1960 to be held in a television studio. Normally, whether or not they have crowds, they've been held in auditoriums for a while. Can anybody else think of firsts? Chase and Mike kept it light during the interview. Chase can be a little heated. Oh, yeah. Hopefully you guys listened to my interview with the Libertarian Ticket, Chase Oliver and Mike Tremont. Nice guys. I wound up, all right, so behind the scenes, Chase had a hard time with his internet. His internet was being non-cooperative for the intro. And so I wound up talking to Mike. Mike, solid dude. He was on his way to Pork Fest. But we talked about all sorts of stuff. I talked about how I'm an expectant father. He had all sorts of parenting things. We talked about names for a while. How he wound up naming one of his he only had boys, then eventually had one girl, didn't know what to name a girl. It was a good time. I like Mike Tremont. Meryl Bar, first one organized by the campaigns directly. No, I assume was the 1960s one put together by the League of Women Voters? That would be the question there. Who organized the debate? First with the automatic mic cut. No, that happened in the second debate or the third. There were only two debates last time because of COVID. Trump got COVID. Biden wouldn't debate him, so they did separate interviews on the same night. But I think the third one had automatic mic cutoff. Yeah, I don't think the 1960 debate was organized by the League of Women Voters. I believe that was just between the two campaigns. But again, a connection between Kennedy versus Nixon and Trump and Biden. Man, only somebody's been pointing out for damn near a decade. There's some similarities here. Raise the Dead podcast. Available now. Writing season 3. I mean, history is being written, so. First debate between a felon and the father of a felon. Good point. Good point. Yeah, that first series had 4 debates. What's your over under on yelling so you can be heard? I don't know. I mean, I would take a wild guess. I would take a wild guess and say that this might be a calmer debate than people are expecting. Certainly calmer than the 2021. Maggie Haberman came out over the weekend or over last week and said that Trump is well aware that he interrupted too much. You've got Trump's surrogates out there saying that, which if Trump's surrogates are saying that he interrupted too much, then you have to imagine that that is a known thing amongst the Trump campaign and Trump himself. Because Trump surrogates don't go saying anything that's going to piss off the boss. Who is this debate for? Unless one of them dies between now and November, I know who I'm voting against. Well, that's a really, really good question. Dr. Calhoun, PhD. The Biden campaign is betting on the fact that there are a lot of people that have not yet tuned into this election. They are people who don't really care about politics all that much, but the more they tune in, the more they'll remember something that they remembered 4 years ago. I don't like Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump's a bad guy. I think he's selfish. I think he's mean. I think he's bad. And I didn't like how he ran the country. And so that's why I voted for Joe Biden. And they are hoping that that happens at a scale that outpaces people who are tuning into the election saying, oh, I don't like my life right now. I liked my life better 4 years ago. Who'll be the first to pout when their mic gets cut? I don't know if either. Trump doesn't have the same thing that Biden does, where Biden now will do the like, okay, like he'll just kind of give up talking. I suspect we'll see at least one of those. He'll do the Joker grin. That. Yeah, things are weird these days, dude. All right, well, here, let's read this piece from Politico. Trump is on a fundraising blitz, but there are other warning signs for Republicans. For the first time this year, the Fox News poll had Joe Biden leaning Donald Trump by 2 points. This by Adam Wren. 4 Republicans who spent much of the year crowing about Joe Biden's weaknesses. Donald Trump's massive fundraising haul looked like an affirmation, with the former president erasing Joe Biden's long-standing cash advantage. But outside of the money race, a series of other developments in recent days have left Republicans with the impression that November may not be quite as good for the GOP as it once seemed. First came the GOP's underperformance in the special House race in a deep red swath of Ohio that included a swing county. Then, after Republicans over the weekend nominated a far-right candidate for lieutenant governor in Indiana, a top national GOP lawyer predicted a serious threat to the top of the ticket, even in the heart of MAGA country. These are examples. I wouldn't call them bellwether examples. I don't know if anybody that I've heard outside of like just trying to find things to worry about would point these things out. But it's interesting that is the nut graph example for what we are trying to prove here. Now, new polling from Fox News shows a 7-point swing in President Joe Biden's favorability among independents. They prefer Biden by 9 points, a reversal from May when they favored Trump by 2. That is a big swing. That is more of what you want to look for. For the first time this year, the poll has Biden leading Trump by 2 points, 50-49 within the margin of error. Trump may be raking in donations, but across the country, the mood of Republicans has dimmed, according to a dozen Republican operatives, county chairs, and current and former GOP officials. It comes amid ongoing concerns about the effect of abortion on Republican candidates. Just now figuring out about the abortion thing, huh? Wow. I wonder I wonder what's put it so front and center for them now. It follows defections from Trump in the primaries and most recently polling that has found Trump convictions in the New York Hushman trial is hurting him. Financially, the conviction was a boon to Trump with small dollar operation, but electorally, the realities of Trump's conviction have begun to set in. I do think that they probably, about the time that they should legitimately see a reaction to the guilty verdict, so it certainly makes sense, says Jason Rowe, a Republican strategist and former executive director for the state party in Michigan. Or as Tom McCabe, the GOP chair of swingy Mahoning County, Ohio, put it, this election is going to be decided on the margins. In short term, his conviction is hurting him in the polling. It isn't just Trump's conviction, of course. Republicans are now seeing reasons for concern across the map, even in the most unusual of places. Trump is animating base voters and donors with his grievances about the trial, but his standing with swing voters and independents appears to be slipping. And other problems for Republicans are popping up down ballot. In a special election of Ohio's 6th congressional district this month, massively outspent Democrat Michael Chipcrack. He erased 19 points from Trump's 2020 margin of victory, still losing, but becoming the first Democratic candidate to carry the blue-collar Mahoning County since Trump painted it red in 2020. Oh, wait, hold on. Democrat Michael Chipcrack erased 19 points from Trump's margin of victory, still losing, but becoming the first Democratic candidate to carry the blue-collar Mahoning County. Okay. Incumbent Democratic senators in battleground states like Wisconsin, Nevada, and Pennsylvania are polling ahead of their Republican challengers. In Arizona's open Senate race, Republican Kari Lake, a star of the MAGA movement, is underperforming in the polls. Well, yeah, I think all the Senate candidates are. Although you are seeing that start to close a little bit. The Republicans across the map are still laboring under backlash to the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe versus Wade. A Gallup poll released this month found record levels of voters saying that in major races they would only vote for candidates who share their views on abortion, with the intensity surrounding the issue likely to benefit abortion rights candidates more. Republicans have a ton of down-ballot problems, said Barrett Marson, a Republican strategist in Arizona, not the least of which is on abortion. In the presidential campaign, there are reasons to temper the latest developments with caution. Well, I mean, what are we doing here? Right? Because you already tempered the idea that things are going well for the Democrats in this article, that it's like, okay, well, our proof is that one poll from Fox and a special election where like 11 people voted. And so we're going to read the tea leaves on November. Now, guys, that's what I do, right? I'm trying to analyze this. I'm trying to see any string of data that's coming out. I'm trying to do it with vim, vigor, and vitality. I'm trying to give you guys some sort of insight that you might not have otherwise based on the complex matrix of my brain. I'm trying to do my best here. But this is the kind of stuff that gets, that gets my world a bad name. It's like when we're like, okay, we're going to totally swing our opinions based on one poll, right? And it's not even that crazy of a poll. It essentially shows the same thing that most of the national polling has showed, that it's a tight race. This one has Biden on the other side of it as opposed to down. He's up, but it's not like we've seen gigantic national polling gaps. The bigger warning sign for Biden has been the swing state polling. Only Israel and AIPAC seem to win. Well, tell that to Gaza, right? They seem to have not done that yet. Yes, Teets, you know it. We do support partisan wins here. But it's like, hey, I'll say it again. It's going to be close. It's going to be a close election. It's going to be really close. We're really divided as a country. Polarization is a big deal. That's my take. It's going to be close. Now, if you want anything deeper than that, I do think that Republicans have a more united base right now. Obviously, it is. You still have kind of this like Pangea. You don't have Pangea fully united, but it's more united now than it was in 2016 at this point. 2020 was pretty well united too, but he was president. So Biden's got base issues. So what are we even doing? What are these warning signs? Should the Republicans be screaming from the mountaintops to expect Biden to be on speed? No. They should be doing who I imagine the vice presidential nominee is going to be, Doug Birdman. He was on television saying Joe Biden's a great debater. He's always risen to the occasion. He's going to rise to the occasion yet again. America should be very prepared to see the president of the United States at the top of his game lay out his plan for America, and the Trump campaign is going to do their best to contrast it with his view for America. That's what the Republicans should be doing. The Republicans should just be saying, we hope that America gives Joe Biden the respect he deserves, that they bring a pad of pen and paper, and they write down all the things that they agree with Joe Biden. We think that Joe Biden is going to be at the absolute top of his game. Turn back the clock to 2012. He's gonna give him hell, malarkey, bunch of stuff, all that. You know, he's gonna make Donald Trump look like Paul Ryan is. If you're a Republican, that's what you want to do. You want to drive up expectations. Drive up expectations. Don't be driving expectations down. Trump gets a lot of money in and the media says he's behind, then Trump campaign has to spend more. Well, political campaigns aren't in the business of investing their money. They get money in, they spend it as fast as possible. You know, the best way to look at political campaigns are as like startups that only exist for a year and a half. Everything you get in, you're gonna shoot out. Spin dash, you need to drive down expectations. No, that's what Democrats should be doing. Democrats are like, hey, look, come on. This man's basically dead. You know, if he can put two words together, it'll be exciting. And then when he puts four words together, you're like, ah! Oh my God, he is risen. He is risen. How long is, oh yeah, I guess for Trump it's been longer. What do you think of Trump saying he'll unleash violence if he loses? Can you send me the clip there? You never know. We're in the silly season now where, like, you know, Trump speaks extemporaneously so much and does a lot of interviews comparatively that, you know, one or two words that get said, I don't know. Maybe this is the point that he's worn me down, but I don't react to a secondhand Trump quote anymore. I have to see what he said before I make any kind of decision on it. By the way, it looks like we're going to get the immunity decision from the Supreme Court after the debate. You got to wonder whether or not that is on purpose. Oh, Condor pasta. Maybe I misread. See? This is the problem. You hear somebody say a thing, and then you conflate it, and you do the little thing, and the next thing you know, you're unleashing violence after the election. Who knows? Who knows? I believe that Trump says stuff just to stay on the Fox MSNBC ticker tape. Oh, he certainly does. There's no question about that. But also, I think that those networks are incentivized to do it because they know people watch. So here, this is the Democratic argument. This is what you will hear if you talk to Democrats. The case for Democratic enthusiasm. Polls don't matter. Voting results do. And Democrats have beat expectations in a spring of special elections. Representative Tim Kennedy in April won a special House election in New York, outpacing Biden's 2020 performance in the district by 6 percentage points. And Tom Suozzi flipped a seat previously held by disgraced former Republican George Santos. This is true. Now, special elections don't include a lot of people. So what you may be seeing, and you have seen in some of the polling, is that the Democrats have a solid base of voters who are vote no matter what. They're going to vote in specials. They're going to vote in off years. They're going to vote in the general. You've got a hardcore kernel of Democratic voters. Does that translate to independence? We don't know. What channels am I watching on my bank of Office monitors? I have my news quad, so it's Fox, CNN, MSNBC, BBC. Those are the four that I keep on. On the debate, no glaze. Boomer Joe's going to look good to the self-identified intellectuals, while Rizzler Trump is going to show a certified yacht of a ratio, which is what the normies think is bussing. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. It's good for my workflow because it gives me a little ADD hit that doesn't have me pick up my phone. That's really the big thing that I want to do, is not pick up my phone while I am working on something, including a New World's Greatest Con on the radar, coming at you. New episode. It's a good one. We're going to try to bump these out a little bit faster, but no Crystal season 2. Crystal, hopefully I never do anything as depressing as the place that I was in to do Crystal. Just watching old movies from my youth and then looking up depressing stories in the year that they happen. No, New World's Greatest Con episode. It's a standalone episode, but how to tease it. It is not a modern story. And it takes place in Africa. Nothing in the future that can get in the way of Justin do more World's Greatest Con episodes more quickly. I'll work all the time from here on out. Well, thankfully, I don't work on World's Greatest Con alone. I am the executive producer on World's Greatest Con. So I jump in when it makes sense. And I'm kind of like on a meta level. I'm like the coach on World's Greatest Con these days. After season 3, I was just like, okay, I can't do everything anymore. I need to stop that. Will the baby be getting my childhood nickname Whiskers? I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see if she's curious like a cat. Can Disney survive the nightmare that is Acolyte? You have massive Star Wars fanboys who are going to sue Disney for slander after the director called them a terrorist. Yeah, I mean, Disney can survive. I mean, of course. The question is, at what point do they reboot the Star Wars stuff? Is there a new leader with Star Wars stuff and they say, "Hey, everybody who got a little burnout with what happened before, we've got somebody else that's going to come in here." Because the problem is, really the same problems that we've had for a while. I'm not a cartoon guy, so the Filoni folks, Filoni defenders, please spare me. But whatever he did with the cartoons that people liked, I have not appreciated what he has brought to live action. I don't think that the lore stuff is cool. I don't think the new the characters that are being introduced in live action are cool. They don't seem to be very interesting to me. I have lost more interest the more that Dave Filoni has been involved in the television stuff. And then I have heard tale from other people who are more up to date on the cartoons that there's like a lot of nonsense that he's kind of brought in, up to and including the kind of more witchy religious stuff and like time travel and stuff like that. So, Andor was great. I really liked Andor because it was really well written. But other than that, man, what are you doing? And so, at some point, you'd have to imagine that the Kathleen Kennedy regime sort of comes to an end. And then we move on. Oh, crap. Who watched the latest episode of The Boys? I was molested by Firecracker. Do you guys know that? I was molested by Firecracker. All right. So the most recent episode of The Boys, Butcher tries to blackmail the new kind of QAnon adjacent superhero, Firecracker, who is doing a 6-hour telethon to reveal negative things about Starlight. And Butcher tries to blackmail her by saying that when she was at a Bible conference in Davie, Florida, she hooked up with a boy who is 15 years old behind a Buca de Beppo. Guess who worked for years at the Buca de Beppo in Davie, Florida? Yeah, boy, when he was a teenager. So there we go. I got a text from Andrew Main last night. It says, you need to watch The Boys. You were molested. There's a very specific reference. So salute to anybody. I don't know. God knows where they pulled Davie, Florida out. The Buca de Beppo in Davie, Florida is very specific. I have no idea. Because that's also, Davie's not really the place where you'd have like a Bible conference in Florida. I guess you could, but anyway. I did not write The Boys. No, I was as delighted as anybody to hear Butcher say the words Davie, Florida, which is like, that's where I grew up. I grew up in Davie, Florida. Davie, Florida is a suburb of Fort Lauderdale. And it is right next to Plantation, right? Because if you want a Southern sounding name, it's right next to Plantation. Although, if you just say that in The Boys, people might think that you're making a name up. After I watched episode 4, did your opinion change on Starlight? No. I just kind of think that this season's poorly written. Aside from them referencing the Buca de Beppo in Davie, Florida, it just kind of feels like the writers are just sort of dragging the characters around, and like, I don't really get a sense that like they're moving in the direction. Huey's the only one whose arc this season is something that is an evolution of the past. But even then, it's like we've been dealing with Huey's distant relationship with his father for a while. I assume we're going to get some really good Simon Pegg stuff now based on the ending. But other than that, it's like it's like, okay, so we're doing another Homelander trying to figure himself out thing. Okay. I guess Sister Sage, her in the Deep, I think she's an interesting character. I really do like her. I think that's really the big saving grace of this season, is that I like that character. But this is kind of the problem with The Boys, is that you have these like new characters and you kind of squeeze anything interesting out of them. And then it's like, okay, well, how do they interact? And it's like, oh, I don't know. A-Train signed to atone for sins, but he's been doing that for like 3 seasons, right? You know, isn't that the whole... A-Train's been trying to atone for his sins since, what, halfway through season 1? I don't know what the hell's going on with House of the Dragon. I don't get that show, man. Like, that shit is boring. Oh my God. Do you think that I would do such a thing? No, my lady. No. What are we even doing? I'm mad. I'm leaving. Okay. You know, that it just shows you how good Game of Thrones was in those first few seasons, where there was just like, it's just something happening. There was like a plot of that episode that you could focus on. Well, I mean, that's the other thing is that ending. because it resolved in the least interesting way possible, right? If you got the two Spocks fighting, it is most interesting when one of them wins, because then you don't know whether or not it's the right one. If they both die, cool. All right, I guess we're to the end of that. Well, here's the other thing is that Game of Thrones had characters that you wanted to spend time with. You liked spending time with. Like they were either doing something really shitty or they were being mean or they were doing like, I don't know, they were just characters that drew them to you. What's the point of any of these characters? I guess the king's overwhelmed. Okay. Our main character, theoretically the protagonist of the entire series, she's sad. Okay, we don't know how that's going to resolve itself. The crazy husband slash brother slash uncle is reckless. Cool. And then the mom of the king, she really likes banging. She really does. Am I out of YouTube jail? I think so. People are watching me on YouTube, right? Yeah, give me more on the Crab Man. Crab Man was so good. That's when I liked House of Dragon the most. I didn't come for TV and their lies. I came here for politicians and their lies. All I'm thinking about is old debates. That's all I'm thinking about right now. I don't know. Do you guys want to look at polls? We can look at polls. All right, so these are Democratic polls here for the Senate. First for president, Biden plus 26. Good, healthy. For Senate, also Brooks up 8 on Hogan. On Hogan. That would be a Outer Banks kind of pickup here for Larry Hogan, if that were the case. CBS News poll released yesterday. Trump up 1. Let's take a look at that approval rating. So again, the worst, I think, did he kiss 20? Yeah. That was the worst day. July 21st, 2022 was the worst approval rating that he had. He was underwater by 20. These days, better. Not great, but better. He's up over into the 40s, which is good for him. But the problem is that his disapproval has also just risen. So even as his approval rating is kind of stabilized, just sort of hangs out here in the high 30s, low 40s, his disapproval has kind of also stabilized in the 50s. So, we are a long way away from the honeymoon period back then. That was when the crystal cracked, August of 2021. And that was all amidst the Afghanistan crisis and inflation, right? Inflation had already kind of taken hold. So let's take a look. This is the heads up aggregate for Real Clear Politics. Are they counting the +9? So that's an outlier, right? That Rasmussen number is an outlier. 1,000 registered voters, 3 margin of error, Trump 49, Biden 40. Donald Trump has pretty much, he's maintained a lead, nowhere near the top of things, which was toward the end of the primaries. Or no, wait, this would be it. Yeah, his best head-to-head poll number was 3.9. That was while he was rolling through the primaries. Now we've been pretty much within either like a 1.5 to less over the last few weeks, but while national polling is what it is, right? This is more appropriate. This is the 5 wide number. And that's where Fox had Biden up 1. New York Post had Biden up 2. By the way, that Fox News number was also, a pretty good Kennedy poll. Rasmussen has him at 9. But if we look at this, Trump has more of a lead in the 5 wide than he does head to head, which would indicate that Kennedy is taking more on aggregate from Biden than he is from Trump. Although that does vary from poll to poll. But if Kennedy fades, then it would stand to reason that more people might give old Joe a try. These were the Fox polls that we were talking about earlier. That outlier is the only one polling likely voters versus registered pollers. Do you think that means anything? Likely is usually a more reliable metric than registered, especially with a candidate like Trump, who pulls in a lot of non-regular voters. And so people that will get their house in order before Election Day because they only want to vote for Trump. They don't care about anything else. They don't go vote in specials. They don't go vote in off years. They vote for Trump. That's it. They got a one candidate button pushing finger. Boop. They get in the booth, vote for Trump, get the hell out of the booth. So, that's the biggest question is if you look at past polling misses with Trump, they tend to be a little bit more substantial. What we have seen enough data on is that does not transfer to Republicans in general, but it does seem to be consistent with Trump. And so Like, let's take a look at the Georgia 5-wide. All right, that's a pretty beefy number for Trump. We got eights, six, sevens. You are seeing a Trump 6+4, blah, 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 right? Let's see if we can't do a little data dive here. Please look up the historical polling data on Donald Trump's run for president in 2016 and 2020. Specifically, look at how much polling averages either underestimated or overestimated. Oh.
Absolutely, I can gather this information for you. This will involve quite a bit of research, so it might take some time. Let's get started.
All right. We'll see what that gives. But really what I wanted to find out was we don't need the sounds. What I wanted to look at it was just like polling misses, because Decision Desk actually did a good video a couple weeks ago. Here we go. This is it. So this was Decision Desk's numbers on this. If you look at 2016 polling, 2016 actual, 2016 error, 2020 poll, 2020 actual, 2020 error. Only one of the states that were theoretically in play did it favor Biden, and that's Colorado. Past that, the average error in the states that are going to matter this year, Nevada, about a point, Pennsylvania, 4 points, Michigan, damn near 5 points, Ohio, damn near 7 points, Arizona, 2, Georgia, 1, Virginia, 1, Minnesota, 4, Wisconsin, 7. Right? So let's take a look at that. And then look at the Real Clear Politics stuff. Because if you look, we need them. Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan. Damn, just give me that Wisconsin. I need that Wisconsin. Where's that? Wisconsin, Trump, Biden. So right now, according to the Real Clear Politics average, you've got Trump up 0.3s, right? So essentially a statistical dead heat. But if you look at the historical polling averages or polling misses, that's Trump 7.3. Historically, Wisconsin's been very, very hard to poll for Trump support. And I would suspect that part of it is because you have a lot of non-traditional voters that otherwise feel that they are not a part of the process in Wisconsin, that will come out and vote for Trump. And I wonder, as we go forward in our polarized world, whether or not more candidates don't look at that and say, hey, if I'm a specific kind of candidate, if I really put down roots and voters believe they know me because they've heard me talk enough, are there areas that right now seem unflippable that could be flippable? Do all these rappers coming out for Trump mean anything for predicting the black vote, or is it as relevant as celebrities with any race? Yeah, I would not look at rappers coming out for Trump. I mean, remember, last time, what, Lil Wayne came out for Trump, and Lil Pump. Like there were rappers. 50 Cent last time said, "I'm voting for Trump because I don't want to be 25 Cent." Like rappers coming out for Trump is not a shock, and it didn't particularly move the black vote in 2020. What I would point more to is the numbers that black vote hasn't seemed to have moved much. Okay. So according to ChatGPT, which does show sources, Trump in June of 2016 was behind Hillary Clinton 41.8 to 44. Was behind anywhere between 2 and 4 points. Hillary kind of continually led between 3 and 4 points. Yeah, I'll have to do better searches. Trump should start making Dragon Ball Z references if he wants to court young black men. He ain't lying. Dude, the black nerd vote. The black nerd vote that's a key constituency. You know, you want to win Atlanta? Foreign policy's got to be strong. Strong as Goku. Great man, Goku. Imagine Trump and Biden watching anime together. Let's do that. I wonder if make a picture of Trump and Biden watching anime together. Will you do it, ChatGPT? No, they won't let me make a picture of Donald Trump and Joe Biden watching anime together. They don't want us to heal. They don't want us to heal. God did. Portillo's is a hot dog place in Chicago, but a very, very nice, dedicated listener of the show sent along a big kit of Portillo's hot dogs, and they came with a hat. It was nice. It was good. Oh, by the way, we're gonna switch to streaming on Riverside because I am tired of this chat not effing working. Because I can't highlight shit. Yeah.
You've done well so far, but up until now, I've only been using a mere 5% of my power. Now let's see how well you fare against my Biden blast.
Biden, you fool. Did you really think you were the only one holding back? Your Biden blast is nothing compared to my Trump tower.
Impossible. No one has ever deflected the Biden blast.
Oh, Sleepy Joe, you underestimate the power of the tower. Now prepare yourself.
Yep, we did it. We did it, kids. I'll tell you what, Bill Nye's publicist was working overtime this weekend. That dude was on a bunch of my squares. For whatever reason, when we're talking about a heat dome settling in on the United States, what we need is the children's entertainer from 30 years ago. That's what we need to understand the heat dome. What we really need to understand the heat dome is the children's entertainer from 30 years ago. Good. Great. Grand. And you guys wonder why I have contempt for television news. Just get the hell out of here. Yeah, at least Beekman stays the hell out. He just lets me remember him fondly. I liked Beekman and his whole world. I appreciated Beekman. All right, so stuff coming up here. We are going to do the debate episode. I think that'll come out early. I'm going to work on that today. We'll have the schedule this week might be weird because I'm going to get the debate episode out ASAP because I want people to be able, I don't know. Let me ask. I have it in my head that I want to get this episode out early so people can watch the debates if they want to. Because I'm going to have a big list of debates that I think this is going to be interesting, that it's going to be a better watch if you've watched these other debates. And so I want people to be able to watch them. And I know no one's going to do it, but I do know, I don't know, like maybe there's going to be like one like super nerdy dude who's going to watch it. And so I want to get it out early. Bill Scher is going to come on. I wanted to have Bill Scher on to talk about the Biden perspective. What's at Biden? What's at stake for Biden? And then the Friday episode will be the recap. The Friday episode is going to be, we'll record that live. We are going to stream. We're going to stream the debate. And then I don't know. Maybe I'll see if old Andy Heats wants to come in and watch it with me. Because I was thinking initially, I'm like, oh no, I want to do it by myself. But there's going to be 2 commercial breaks. And so if there's going to be 2 commercial breaks, then I don't know. I think having somebody else to talk to about it would be good. Am I going to stream old debates? Maybe. Presidential debate is June 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, indeed. It will go for an hour and a half with 2 commercial breaks. Live from Atlanta, Georgia. You go to Atlanta when you need a check balance. I think Jen needs to be on with you for the debate. Here's the problem with Jen being on, and I think Jen would agree with me. Jen is viscerally disgusted by politics, and Heaton is at least nominally interested in the stuff that I am interested in, so we can have a conversation where he can kind of be Sherman and I can be Peabody. If it's Jen, the questions will be like, why are we living? This is disgusting. Which, yeah, I don't know. Now that I said it out loud, maybe we do need to bring Jen in. Maybe it'll be better. But I don't know if it's PX3. Will we make a bingo card? All right, if we were gonna make a bingo card, what would be squares? We need squares for the bingo card. If you guys can come up with enough squares, then we'll do a bingo card. I think disgust is a necessary component to political analysis. Yes, and I really like debates. Oh, also Jen hates debates. Jen really hates debates. Jen thinks that debates are a waste of time. All right, Jan 6, Hunter. Yeah, all right. Well, let's there we go. Debate bingo. Okay. January 6th. Hunter. Operation Warp Speed. Reminder of the rules. Felon. Convicted or conflicted judge. Ashley Biden's diary. Was the vid of Hunter dragging the woman real? No, I don't believe it was. All right, well, we only have 7 now. We probably need like how many? How many squares are on a bingo card?
A standard bingo card has 25 squares arranged in a 5x5 grid.
All right, 25. No taxes on tips. Excuse me. Excuse me. Boots on the ground. Malarkey. Fake news. That's a good one. Ooh, Joey. Joey's a good one. Oh, that's a solid one. Whenever he's telling a fake story about his dad. Some of the stories about his dad are just insane. Just absolutely. He tells one on the campaign trail sometimes. I don't know if he still does it, about how his dad made his mom leave. My dad, where is the salesman downtown during the Christmas party? Comes home early. I say, Dad, why? He says, Joey. Tells me about the boss. He took a big bucket of silver dollars, threw them all over the dance floor. Everybody went and picked them up. He said, never treat people like they're less than you, Joey. Which, I don't know, that just sounds like a lit Christmas party where your boss is just throwing money out on the dance floor. Afghanistan, that's a good one. Cheap fakes. BB's gonna get said, right? BB's there. Bibi, Putin. Roe. Cartels. Russia. And we'll do that with Ukraine, because he often says either one or the two or both of them together. If we're doing Trump ones, bloodbath, dictator. That's a Biden one. So, Social Security. Well, we have January 6th, so I mean, I can't imagine that they would talk about the January 6th rioters without saying the term January 6th. We have Hunter, so we don't need laptop and Hunter. Ooh, a swear word. That's a good one. Curse word. We have conflicted judge, so we don't need conflicted judge and Mershon. Curse word is going to be PG-13 and above, so shit, bullshit, fuck, cunt, piss, cocksucker. You know, obviously, you get double points if one of them says the N-word, hard R. Porn star. Yeah, that's a good one. They love saying porn star. Instant bingo for a hard R. And not the Linus Tech Tips one. Like the Walton Goggins hard R. Hush money. Do we need hush money and porn star? What are debate scenarios where the party will feel obligated to replace their candidate? If Biden glitches out, we're going to have a long, hard talk about whether or not he's still the nominee. If Biden glitches out. I don't think he will, though. NATO's going to get mentioned. TikTok. I mean, if Trump glitches out, it'll be interesting, but he doesn't have the same history or fear of it that people have with Biden. So narratively, it's going to come earlier in the sentence. Biden, there's enough of a drumbeat on him being in decline that if it's a glitch out on television during a big moment where he needs to be performing, now that's an exclamation point at the end of a whole sentence. Yeah, no, we're just gonna come up with as many as we can. Can't wait to get mad about Bill Scher. Bill Scher, look, he's got his jersey on, but I want to talk about it from the Biden perspective, so that's why I wanted him on. Bribe. Shitting themselves so loud the mic's recorded. Well, we have cheap fakes. We are going to do a watch along. Anywhere you're seeing me now, I will be on Thursday. Ooh, Laken Riley. Do we want Laken Riley? Or do we want another? We already have Bloodbath. Will you be running the stream or do I need to have two screens set up? I don't know. I mean, CNN's allowing rebroadcast on like other TV networks, so I don't think that they're going to have a problem with people streaming it. But who knows? Entermentum is more of a numbers dude. Bill Scher is more of a media ecosystem player. Oh yeah, we don't have a trans thing. Women's sports. Women's sports would probably be the most like the easiest landing spot for an issue like that, right? Friendly, there is 0.0% chance that RFK Jr. will ever be on a Democratic ticket ever, 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 ever. He will never do that. Never. Never, 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 no. In the unlikely scenario, and I say it is highly unlikely that Joe Biden gets replaced on the ticket, it is Kamala Harris, almost assuredly. Past that, now you're looking at Pritzker, Whitmer, Pete, that class. But very good soldiers, not rogue people like RFK Jr. Supreme Court. Did wearing the Pokemon outfit get you more or fewer interview opportunities? Delegates would talk to me. Bolton would not. I asked to talk to him in the outfit, and he looked at me and said, "No." Rogue DAs. Yeah, but we only have conflicted judge. Maybe just a Department of Justice, DOJ. DOJ might work. All right, I'm going to get more coffee and I'll be right back. All right. One of the candidates plays Despacito from their phone. Biden crime family. I feel like we already have an outside. If Biden crime family was going to go there, it would probably replace Ashley Biden's diary. Yeah, it's not really a Trump thing. Maybe Burisma. Am I still on LastPass? I guess I am still on LastPass. Yes. No, probably not Epstein. What the fuck? Oh, wow. How the hell did that work? I didn't even enter any of that shit. You made that spin dash. Oh, fuck. That's great. All right, so that's excuse me, fake news, BB Putin, Social Security, malarkey, Russia, Operation Warp Speed, conflicted judge, TikTok, Jan 6, Roe vs. Wade, free play, porn star, Ashley Biden's diary, dictator, boots on the ground, Joey, cheap fakes, no taxes on tips, NATO, curse word, bloodbath, reminder of the rules, and Afghanistan. I would say this diagonal play might be the best. Well, NATO, boots on the ground, that might actually even be in the same sentence. Conflicted judge, Social Security, that might be easiest. I don't think Ashley Biden's diary is likely, so that's already. Excuse me, fake news, BB Putin, Social Security, Joseph Malarkey, Russia, Operation Warp Speed, conflicted judge, TikTok, January 6th. Yeah, I mean, there's bingo card makers where you can just enter in all your shit, and then anybody who hits the button just gets their own version of it. You have 29 items and only 24 squares. Yeah, I'll have to put some time into it. All right. I got a lot to do this week. Because here's the other thing. We got debate week, and then I've been doing interviews for the past 3 weeks for the UK election. So my UK election special next week is going to come out. That leading up to their elections next Thursday. So we got a debate this Thursday. We got a UK election the next Thursday. Holy shit. This is a hot political summer, baby. A hot political summer. All right. I'll work on a bingo card. I'll work on what the stream's going to be. And then past that, I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Big, exciting times. Big, exciting times. All right.